Welcome back to the Final K. We are live for the final mountain stage of this year's Tour de France, stage 20. And I mean, we're on the Col du Galibier now. We've done the first highest categorized climb of the day, which was the Col de la Croix de Fer. They finished that one. They've done the intermediate sprint. They've done the Col du Telegraph, and we are now on the Col du Galibier. And we have got 10.5 kilometers until they complete this climb. There's 70.8 kilometers left for the entire race. Hello, Joe. Hello, hello. There is a breakaway up the road. There's a small group that has just dropped off the breakaway. Mads Pedersen, he's just dropped off the back of the peloton. Spoiler alert, he won the intermediate sprint. And I mean, as things stand, he has pretty much secured the green jersey. But I will get into that in a second. As for what the stage is looking like now, we have got a peloton going up the Galibier, chasing down the breakaway. There's a gap of 4 minutes. UAE are at the front. They've got Isaac Del Toro, Tadej Pogacar, Adam Yates, and Felix Großschartner. They're the only teammates left for UAE at the front, and it is Großschartner and Adam Yates, the two at the front, setting the pace with Tadej Pogacar in third. Then we've got the Red Bull team in behind, and I think Isaac Del Toro was in and amongst the Red Bull riders. Barry and Victorious were at the front, and I will get into why they were at the front when I go over the GC. But hello, Kat. Hello, Steve, and hello, Stephanie. Hello, hello. Welcome back. So we have got a 8-man group up the road. It was 10-man, but Davide Piganzoli and Tobias Foss both dropped off. So we now have an 8-man group up the front. That does include Sepp Kuss, Jai Hindley, Juan Ayuso is involved in this breakaway, Richard Carapaz, Ben Healy, Matthew Riccatello, Tymon Arensman, and Tobias Hallen Johannesson. What a break. That's another day in the mountains where we have an absolute unreal looking break. Like I said, Davide Piganzoli and Tobias Foss did drop off there after an attack from Ben Healy and Richard Carapaz. They weren't able to hang on, so Tymon Arensman loses his teammate and Seb Kuss loses his teammate, so the only one left with a teammate in this breakaway is going to be Richard Carapaz, as he's got Ben Healy with him. But apart from that, everyone else is solo. The breakaway at the moment, Ben Healy is setting the pace at the front of the breakaway. He's at the front, Carapaz on his wheel, Seb Kuss in third wheel. And Arensman is struggling to hold on to the back of the breakaway alongside Tobias Hallen Johannesson. Johannesson seems to be struggling a bit more than Arensman though. Are we going to see Johannesson drop here on the Galibier? Or will he be able to hold on? 9.6 kilometers left on it though. Not gonna lie, no point in me watching today because a lot of are gonna get 80th and worse. I do feel for a lot of teams, but I feel for you, Joe. Afternoon from London Heathrow. Hello, John. Hello, hello. Steve thinks Sepp is going to win it. Oh, my prediction for the stage, he isn't involved in the breakaway, so my prediction was Tom Pidcock. I thought he would have snuck into the breakaway and he would have done another brilliant descent on the Galibier and then, a good descent there after the Col de Seren. But he's not involved in the breakaway. I don't even know if he's still on the back of the peloton. I would like to think he is, but he did drop very quickly on the Alpe d'Huez yesterday, so maybe he is struggling. And I did see a video of him at the top of the Alpe d'Huez, and he looked like a he looked like a shell of himself. Yeah, Steve, I think you're right. Pidcock does seem to be a bit fit, and I was holding it a bit of hope. Maybe I thought he was going to see if I can see him there towards the back of the little Trek guys in the peloton. So he is still in the peloton. I thought he would have tried his luck in the breakaway, but he obviously isn't going to. Ayuso was hiding in the breakaway, not helping. Could be a surprise from him. I think that's why the peloton. Well, I'll get into why Bahrain were at the front. That's why Bahrain was at the front, because Juan Ayuso, they didn't want him to leapfrog. Lenny Martinez, who's currently 13 minutes down. Juan Ayuso is 15:58. So the pretty much 5 minutes. 4:58. The gap's 4:13. So I think Bahrain are alright at the moment to allow UAE to do the work. But if it goes any higher than 5 minutes, I think Bahrain will step up back to the front and try and bring it down. But that is the new GC after the Alpe d'Huez there in stage 19 yesterday. Tadej Pogacar, I mean, still in the yellow jersey. Surprise, surprise, after winning the stage. Remco Evenepoel, he's still in second. However, he is now 7 minutes and 11 seconds down. Isaac Del Toro still in third, 9:42. Paul Sexas still in fourth, into the double digits now of 10:06. Lenny Martinez jumps up into fifth place after his exceptional performance yesterday. Scalmuza, he jumps up into sixth. Did I say Lenny Martinez? No, Lenny Martinez is in fifth. I thought I said sixth there, but Scalmuza is in sixth, 13:09, so 9 seconds down on Lenny Martinez. That'll be an interesting battle today if they both go at it. Juan Ayuso, he drops down into seventh, so he drops 2 places into seventh. 15:58, he was another one that dropped very early on the Alpe d'Huez, so he's I don't know what they expect. I mean, he's in the breakaway now. He was throwing the head up in the breakaway. He did lose his temper, but he was shouting at the team car, and when he dropped back to get a bottle, I don't really know what's going to happen with Juan Ayuso. Richard Carapaz, he jumps up 2 places as he goes into 8th, 21:15. Carapaz, he drops down 1 place, and Gigat drops down 1 place because Carapaz leapfrogged the both of them. But Pidcock's 21:30, and Jordan Gigat is 23:21. Van Edveld has went from top 20 GC to the Gruppetto. Game's gone. Where is Leonard Van Edveld sat in the GC? Let's see if I can find him. He is currently sat in 45th, 2 hours and 36 minutes down. Yikes. But that's what the... pardon me. Pardon me. But that is what the GC is looking like. As for the points jersey, after the intermediate sprint today, between the Col de la Croix de Fer and the Galibier, just in between the pair of them, there was an intermediate sprint, which Mads Pedersen, yet again, unreal performance from him. He did drop on the Col de la Croix, and he was able to make his way back, and then he actually attacked off the front to try and catch the breakaway. On the descent, he did catch the breakaway, and he was able to win the intermediate sprint, taking another 25 points and putting himself up to 527. So I think he's nearly 100 points. He's like 80-something points ahead of Jasper Philipsen. So I think the green jersey's done, provided he stays on his bike and finishes within the time limit. He has just dropped off the back of the peloton, and he is 7 minutes and 20 down on the breakaway at the moment, and he's about 3 minutes down on the peloton. So if he can stay within the time limit, which I think he will be able to, he'll go in tomorrow wearing the green jersey, and he will most likely and hopefully go on to win it. As for the polka dot jersey, at the moment, actually, I should actually update this before I show it, because I should be able to. So yeah, the new and improved polka dot jersey standings are as follows. Richard Carapaz, this is what it's like after the highest category climb at the start of the day, and the Col de Telegraph as well. So Richard Carapaz won the Col de la Croix de Fer and the Col de Telegraph, getting himself 30 more points, and he moves up to 121 points. Valentin Paipandre took second on the Col de la Croix de Fer, but he wasn't there. I think he dropped off. So we did. I don't know if he dropped off on the descent or on the Col de Telegraph, but he dropped off from the breakaway and he wasn't involved in the points there. So he's on 99 today. Tadej Pogačar is on 90. Remco Evenepoel 42, and Lenny Martinez is on 37. And then as for the white jersey, a few changes in the white jersey. So there is, as Paul Sexas goes from 20 seconds down to 24. So he lost 4 seconds yesterday. Lenny Martinez, he hops over Juan Ayuso and goes into third in the youth jersey. 3 minutes and 18 seconds down. Juan Ayuso 6:16 down now. And then Piganzoli just chilling there in fifth. 46:15. As for the favourites, I actually forgot to take a photo of the favourite. They're not there anymore because the stage has started, but I forgot to take a photo of what the odds were looking like. I do sort of remember it's pretty much the same favourites as yesterday. I've still got the favourites from yesterday. I've just changed it over to stage 20, but it's pretty much... I remember Tadej Pogačar was still the favourite. Carapaz was second, and Sepp Kuss was third favourite. I think Remco dropped down into fifth, with Isaac Del Toro moving up into fourth favourite, but they're still all roughly the same guys on the top 10 favourites list. So I was just going to show you that is the favourites from yesterday and pretty much the favourites today as well. Adam Yates, he's dropped off the back of the peloton now, so he's way out the back. It's just Grosschartner left for UAE, and after that, it's Tadej Pogačar at the front with Remco on as well. I wonder. Well, I think Grosschartner's obviously going to be able to carry them over the Galibier and then probably halfway up the Col de Seren. But if something happens, the Grosschartner UAE are on their own. The back of the peloton at the moment, we've got Matteo Cataneo off Red Bull. We've also got Egan Bernal, who's sat fourth from the back. There's someone from EF Education, and there's someone from Uno X as well. Camera is now just focusing on Adam Yates, as all the cars are starting to pass him. But I mean, fair play to him. He's overcome the illness, and he's still been a great help here in yesterday and today. After the horrors of after the past couple stages. Hello, Shelley. Hello. And hello, Rubber as well. Pidcock fan, especially since last year's Vuelta. Pidcock in last year's Vuelta was unreal. And I'm pretty sure I predicted him to finish in the top 10 in GC for the Tour. And I can't remember what, I think it was 8th. 8th or 9th. I think it was 9th I predicted him. So as things stand, my prediction for Pidcock's right. There's Shelley with the weather update. 28 degrees, dark clouds, sunshine, few spots of rain, but nothing due tonight. I don't know if that's the weather for today or the weather for where you are, Shelley. But the weather here it does actually seem pretty grey. The sun doesn't really seem to be out. But Ben Healy drops off the back of the breakaway as Carapaz is at the front now. The work is has been put onto his shoulders, and he's going to have to carry the breakaway up with, hopefully help from some of the other guys. But Johannesson, he's been able to stay on, and we're now down to 7 riders up the road. Jai Hindley, well, we've actually got 3 Grand Tour winners in this breakaway. So that's what I'm saying. It is a very good breakaway. Seb Kuss is here, Jai Hindley, and Richard Carapaz, all Grand Tour winners and all involved in this breakaway. Jai Hindley's probably going to be some sort of satellite rider. So is Matthew Riccatello. Timon Arensman, he's trying to salvage something off. I don't even. Net Company's Tour de France has been, to put it nicely, it has been horrific. And I think Timon Arensman's going to try his best. He wasn't able to on the Alpe d'Huez yesterday. This Alpe d'Huez isn't as hectic, but they are hitting the Col de Seren for the first time ever in the Tour de France's history. So Timon Arensman could excel on it, but he's here to win the stage. Tobias Hallen Johannesson also here to win the stage. Like I said, Hindley and Riccatello are satellite riders. Richard Carapaz, I mean, he's here to wrap up the polka dot jersey. I think if he wins on top of the Galibier here and gets the 20 points, I think he wraps up the polka dot jersey. And he is like virtually leader and winner of the polka dot jersey. He's obviously wanting to do that. There's Egan Bernal dropping off the back of the peloton now. That's not what I want to see. But Carapaz will wrap up the polka dot jersey and want to go for the stage win again. And if he's still doing the attack after attack again here today, I mean, this has been some week from Richard Carapaz, so it has. Juan Ayuso. The jury's out on Juan Ayuso. Obviously, he'll be wanting to get the stage win. But will he be getting the stage win, or will he be a satellite rider for Mathias Skalmuz and try and help him leapfrog Lenny Martinez into 5th and get a top 5 finish for Little Trek? Arensman now goes to the front of the breakaway. Richard Carapaz drops down into 3rd position. Seb Kuss still in 2nd, but Arensman goes to the front. He wants to drill it and increase the gap, which is actually 4 minutes and 27 seconds. So it is going up. 5.8 kilometers until the top of the historic Galibier. The last time we actually did pass the Galibier was in 2024 and then 2022 as well. So we seem to be seems to be every 2 years they hit the Galibier. We hit it twice in the same tour in 2022. So it was stage 11 and stage 12. And then I also found out the last time the Tour de France finished on top of the Galibier was in 2011. Where Andy Schleck won on top of it. So that's the last winner on top of the Galibier. Obviously, we're not finishing on it this year. And we haven't finished on it since 2011 in the Tour de France. But We just always seem to pass it at some point every 2 years. I'm still going through the breaker there. Got a bit sidetracked. So yeah, Wana Yusu, don't know if he's going to be a sneaky satellite rider or obviously go for the stage. Jai Hindley, already spoke about him, but Seb Kuss, his brilliant performance yesterday. I mean, he looking at this breakaway. If the breakaway does get away, I think my money would be on Seb Kuss, just because Carapaz he's been in the breakaway the past 2 days, absolutely drilling it. Seb Kuss, we've only seen yesterday. He was obviously a domestique for Jonas Vingegaard at the start of the tour, and then Jonas Vingegaard abandoned it at the end of week 2. So Seb Kuss is now going to step up towards the end of week 3 and try and get a stage win, try and salvage something for Visma Leasebike. And I think this is the perfect stage to do so. There's Wana Yusu getting the car pulled up beside him yet again. He's getting the gel this time. Is he going to start throwing his toys out of the pram or not? No, he doesn't. He is all good with the car this time. Riccatello looks like an actual child snuck into the break. Riccatello is tiny, to be fair. Jordan Jagat, he's struggling to hang on to the back of the peloton here. He's obviously sat in 10th in GC. So he is struggling at the back of the peloton. Who and how far is Janis Vossard behind him? Janis Vossard is 7 minutes down on him in 11th. So if Jordan Jagat can just get over the top of the Galibier, I think Janis Vossard still might be in the peloton. So it could be a bit of a sticky situation for Total Energies. Benim Girmay nowhere near the green jersey, and that's what he gets for betraying us. NSN delay is 10 times better. I always forget that what was it? Intermarché and Lotto merged a lot of the guys from. They didn't keep all of their best riders. They sold the likes of Benim Girmay. Lotto would have been pretty cool to see Benim Girmay with Lotto, to see what they could have done, especially with Arnaud Delis side by side with him. Would have been cool. But a lot of the guys in the merger ended up disappearing as Richard Carapaz puts in an attack 4.8 kilometers to the top of the Galibier, and Richard Carapaz puts in a massive attack. Anyone able to go with him? Everyone starts looking at each other. Seb Kuss now gets out of the saddle to try and close the distance. There's Davide Piganzoli just in the difference, slowly making his way back onto the breakaway, but I'm sure he came around that corner and seen Carapaz up the front and thought, oh, you're kidding. I'm going to have to ride even harder now to catch him. Because Seb Kuss goes to the front of the chasing group. Timon Aronson drops out the back. Tobias Hallen Johannesson drops out the back. Wana Yusu drops out the back. Riccatello is on the wheel of... Who's that in front of Riccatello? Not actually sure who that is, but I know it's Seb Kuss and Jai Hindley chasing down Carapaz. Riccatello is in that group as well. I think Riccatello's on the wheel of Seb Kuss and Jai Hindley's at the front. Wana Yusu's just off the back of them. And then so is Tobias Hallen Johannesson and Aronsman. But Carapaz going solo here with 64.8 kilometers to go. He has channeled his inner Tadej Pogačar. He wants to win the stage solo from a 65 kilometer attack. Riccatello slowly losing distance here on Jai Hindley and Seb Kuss. I think he's looking pretty comfortable though. With the ones that are struggling are Wana Yusu, Aronsman and Johannesson. Will they be able to catch up on the descent? I mean, there is 4.3 kilometers to go, and that is what the Galibier looks like on your screen. I completely forgot to say that, but if you count back along the bottom, we're getting to the steepest section of the Galibier. So we are. They're just replaying the attack. He was in third wheel. Attack around the left-hand side of Jai Hindley and Wana Yusu, and everyone just started looking at each other and didn't know how to react. And then Seb Kuss was the first one to react in that situation. Bit far behind the chat. Why should anyone work with Carapaz? They shouldn't, Rubber, and I don't think anyone. Well, I mean, they're gonna work as a breakaway to try and get up the road and try and go on to win it. But they know how dangerous Carapaz is, and he's proved it with that attack. I think Seb Kuss will be all right working with Carapaz because he was able to stay with him yesterday. Maybe Seb Kuss is thinking Richard Carapaz at some point he has to crack at some point. So maybe Seb Kuss is right. I'm probably a lot fresher, but he still hasn't caught up. Wana Yusu, he is closing the gap on Riccatello, Jai Hindley, and Seb Kuss. Where's Carapaz? I'm trying to see him up the road. There he is now. The camera's on him. They're saying Wanayusu's Group 2, 7 seconds down. I think they need to change that a bit. I don't know if it's Wanayusu that's 7 seconds down or if it's the 3 guys chasing him. I think it might be the Seb Kuss, Jai Hindley, and Riccatello that are 7, 8 seconds down. But Carapaz is still in their sights. He hasn't gotten that far away, and Seb Kuss, doing his usual, pacing up the climb, should be able to bring him back in. Him and Jai Hindley specifically. And just think this could have been a glimpse into the future of Jai Hindley and Seb Kuss working together, but unfortunately for Visma, Jai Hindley is going to be signing a contract extension with Red Bull, so I've heard. He was linked with Visma Leasebike, but I'm pretty sure it came out there not that long ago that he was going to be extending his contract at Red Bull, so we're only going to see Jai Hindley and Seb Kuss work together in a break on opposite teams. Hello, Lynn. Sorry, I didn't see you enter in the chat there, but hello. I think it's going to be a case of those the gods who condemn the first call promising. Also on lane, maybe Lipo. What are we all thinking about the potential Sexas attack today, or are UAE too strong? I mean, obviously Sexas is going to have to try something. He's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at it. Will it work? I mean, Sexas still does have 2 teammates around him, and he's got a teammate up the road. Isaac Del Toro has Grosschartner, but he also has Tadej Pogacar in his corner. And I'm pretty sure I've seen a quote. I need to check it, but I'm pretty sure I've seen somewhere that Tadej Pogacar came out and said after the yesterday stage that, he's after winning that stage, it is all focus on Isaac Del Toro keeping that white jersey and getting on the podium. Let me see if I can find it, just to make sure I'm not crazy. But there's Jai Hindley, Seb Kuss, and Riccatello closing in on Matthew Riccatello. Jai Hindley, Seb Kuss, and Riccatello closing in on Richard Carapaz as they hit the 3 kilometre banner for the Galibier. And Carapaz looks over his shoulder, sees that they're about to catch him, and he's gonna... Yeah, that's it. He's been caught. Let me see if I can find this. Find this quote. Aye, that's it there. Pogacar said, Today was maybe my day to take an opportunity to win, and tomorrow we make sure that Isaac fights for the beautiful white jersey and podium. So I wasn't crazy. I did see that somewhere. But we've got 2.8 kilometres until the top of the Galibier. We've got a group of 4. The rider chasing this group of 4 is going to be Wana Yusu. Not sure how far he is behind. He was only a couple seconds behind when they weren't a group of 4 and Carapaz was up the road, but I just wonder how close Wana Yusu is. I think he's in and amongst the team cars at the moment. Maybe little Trex cars just snuck in behind a few of the other team's cars that are in this group of 4, and Wana Yusu's just comfortably sitting on the back of them. But the Cathlon's cars at the front, the red car as well, the organizer's car, and then the Shimano car as well as behind them. I can't see Wana Yusu in between them or anything, so maybe he has dropped a bit off. But we're going to be going on to the descent pretty soon, and I think it's a 30 kilometre descent as well, so it's going to be a long one. Is the Galibier the highest point of the whole tour? It sure seems like it. I'm not 100% sure if it actually is, but it would definitely be. It would definitely be fighting for the top spot of this entire tour. This is the hardest stage of the Tour de France as well. This is the Queen stage. It's the hardest stage actually. PCS did a whole thing on the stages. So they did. So yeah, the hardest stages. The yesterday's stage, the Alpe d'Huez one, was the third hardest stage with 300. I don't know what way they work it out, but they've given it 357 points. Second hardest was stage 15 up the Plateau des Soleils, 382. And then today's stage, the hardest stage in the Tour de France, is 438 points. So a massive jump of near 50 points from the second hardest to the hardest. And I mean, rightly so, with the amount of climbs in it. The easiest stage of this year's Tour de France, if anyone was curious, was actually stage 7, the flat stage to Bordeaux. It had a difficulty or points rating of 13 points. So that's how easy that one was compared to this stage. But the gap of the peloton is now up to 5 minutes and 8 seconds. Closing in on fire. It's 5:10 now, so the gap is quite significantly growing here. It keeps going up second by second. It's actually ticking up in seconds. It's up 13 now, 14. Now it's down to 13, so it's starting to balance out. Mads Pedersen, he's 13 minutes and 4 seconds down. Ben Healy, I don't really know why they have his time up. I mean, he dropped. He's a helper, so he's going to do nothing but drop. He's 2 minutes and 39 down, but in between Ben Healy and this front group, we've got Juan Ayuso, Piganzoli, Arnsman and Johannesson. PCS are saying Piganzoli, Arnsman and Johannesson have created a group, and they are 45 seconds down the road, and Juan Ayuso is 10 seconds down on this front group. The front group has Riccatello, Carapaz, Jai Hindley and Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss is at the front, Carapaz in second wheel, Jai Hindley third wheel, and Riccatello in fourth wheel. We've got 1.6 kilometres until the top of the Galibier. They're 15 kilometres an hour, and they're currently on an 8% section. As Carapaz gets out of the saddle, thought he was going to do another attack there, but he did not. Carapaz should just be left alone. He attacks any team he sits in. The camera's now found Juan Ayuso. Juan Ayuso has been found. He's 20 seconds down on this group. 18 seconds now, so it is going down and it's going up again. So he's fluctuating between 18 to 20 seconds. He might be able to catch them on the descent, depending on how hard the descender's ride and how good of a descender Juan Ayuso is. But he's now 16 seconds, and he actually is going faster than the breakaway. They were going about 18 kilometers an hour. Juan Ayuso's going 26. Tadej Pogacar's going. He's alongside Felix Großschartner having a chat. Isaac Del Toro in the wheel of Tadej Pogacar, talking tactics. But I mean, that is what the UAE team remains. 3 riders, and 2 of which are fighting for the podium. There's 1 teammate left. Tadej Pogacar is going to have to be putting on the domestique jersey for today, it seems, to try and save Isaac Del Toro. What's the gap? Oh, 20. Should have actually known that. 24 seconds. So Isaac Del Toro, he has, like, I guess technically 2 teammates left. Tadej Pogacar has 1. But I actually thought Tadej Pogacar was taking over there. Thought he was taking over from duties over the top of the Galibier, but he did not. He just wanted a chat with Felix Großschartner. 1.1 kilometers till the top of the Galibier, and the fans are starting to pick up. There's the big T-Rex costume that you usually see. They hit the 1 kilometer banner now. These 4 at the front. Obviously, Richard Carapaz is going to be sprinting for these 20 points, and I wonder if anyone is going to follow. I think they should just. I don't really like gifting people. I always like someone trying to sprint, but I mean, no one else is fighting for it, so I suppose Richard Carapaz should take it, unless Visma Leasebike want to. Is there a money bonus at the top? Maybe Visma Leasebike want to add some more money to the pot. But it should go to Richard Carapaz here, and he should take the 20 points, and he should wrap up the polka dot jersey here. My polka dot jersey prediction at the start of the tour was completely off. My prediction was Thymen Arensman. I just had a feeling that he would try something, but obviously Net Company have completely capitulated. And it looks like Riccatello is finally going... Riccatello? Why do I keep getting Riccatello? Why do I keep calling people Riccatello? It looks like Richard Carapaz is finally going to be winning the Tour de France polka dot jersey for the second time in his career. Pogacar won it last year. Lenny Martinez was the one that missed out on it. But it looks like Richard Carapaz is going to be wrapping it up for the second time in his career. Here we go. Tadej Pogacar is at the front. Felix Großschartner is gone. Tadej Pogacar is at the front of the peloton. Domestique duty. I don't know. They're 5 minutes down, so I'm not sure how many kilometers they've gotten till the top of the Galibier, but Tadej Pogacar's taken over and he's setting some pace. Oh my god. The whole peloton is just split in two. Remco's still there. He has another teammate with him, so he's got one more teammate remaining. Paul Sexas is able to keep up with his teammate, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders drop off the back of the peloton already. What a pace is being set here. I mean, Tadej Pogacar has 7 minutes and 11 seconds to play with. But I think Harold Tejada is still holding on. He's the one at the back of the peloton at the moment. Quinn Simmons is still there. They've got 2 kilometers until the top. 5 minutes and 17 is the gap. 400 meters until the front 4 hit it as the camera pans back to them. I'm expecting, obviously, Carapaz to accelerate at some point in case someone, decides to be a bit dirty and try and nick the points, but Carapaz gets out of the saddle now. 280 meters to go. They're currently sat 2,600 meters above sea level. That's the elevation at the moment. There's Juan Ayuso in the distance. Juan Ayuso is slowly but surely creeping up on them, but we're going to see an acceleration here from the guys at the front, so it's going to be another scenario of you're so close to getting them, but then they all start accelerating at the front. But Carapaz now out of the saddle, 140, 110, or 100 meters to go, I should have just said. But Carapaz is really, really close to wrapping up this polka dot jersey into the final 100 meters, and it looks like he is going to be going on to take the polka dot jersey for the 2026 Tour de France, and he crosses the line. And as things stand, as always, provided he stays on the bike, he is the new polka dot jersey for this year's Tour de France for the second time in his career. Juan Ayuso crosses the top of the climb as well. The peloton is down to 4 people. The pace, what is going on? Tadej Pogacar is setting that big of a pace that Isaac Del Toro was dropping. The peloton is completely gone. We've 3 riders on the wheel of Pogacar: Paul Sexas, Remco Evenepoel and Isaac Del Toro. Isaac Del Toro is the one that is struggling though to hold on to the pace that Tadej Pogacar is setting. Everyone else has completely disappeared, and Tadej Pogacar is going to have to slow up a bit. Remco was having a conversation with Paul Sexas, but I don't think anyone can have a conversation at this pace. Tadej Pogacar keeps looking over his shoulder as if to say, where are you, mate? Where are you? There's Lenny Martinez bridging the gap. He's going to get onto the wheel of Isaac Del Toro and make it a group of 5, but 4 minutes and 50 seconds is the gap. I tell you what, Paul Sexas is looking pretty good here to take these potential 24 seconds back. Will Paul Sexas be able to finish on the podium off the Tour de France and get the white jersey? That would be absolutely crazy. But we know how Isaac Del Toro likes to climb. He's a brilliant bluff on him. He always sits at the back of the group, looks as though he's struggling, but then he pulls it out of the bag and he comes out of nowhere, and then he always does well. They hit the 1 kilometer banner for the top of the Galibier. As we pan back to the front of the race, it is now a group of 5 as Juan Ayuso has officially now caught back up. Skelmose's dropped. I forgot about Skelmose, so he's going to lose time to Lenny Martinez, but Skelmose is in a group with, obviously, Skelmose, Carlos Verona, as well as Nicola Prodom. They've dropped off the back of the GC group. They weren't able to hold the wheel, but Lenny Martinez was, so Skelmose is going to lose out there. But it's all picking up here with 60 kilometers to go. I forgot to change. It still says 70 for my screen. But we've got 58.7 kilometers to go, and it's kicking off. bit far behind just on the chat, so I'm just trying to catch up. The camera is currently on the GC guys. Isaac Del Toro now out of the saddle in fourth wheel. Look at that aerial view. Wow. What a climb. What a climb. Carapaz looks so good in the polka dot jersey. Eunice always looked terrible in it. He looked better in yellow. This is crazy. Too far out for UAE to go, surely. Well, we're going to see what happens here because we've still got this massive descent, and then we have the Col de Seren, and then 4 or 5 kilometers of the Alpe d'Huez. So we're going to see how this plays out. This is very interesting. We've got a group of 5 up the road, and we've got a group of 5 chasing with a group of 3 in between them. So the whole race is just completely closed in on 13 riders. That is what this race is now down to, 13 riders, unless anyone else is able to catch up on the descent of the Pogacar group. But the Tadej Pogacar has shaved off a bit of time from the breakaway. It's 4 minutes and 44 seconds now. Skelmos is 15 seconds down on Tadej Pogacar. They've still got Ben Healy's time up. Maybe Ben Healy's a part of the group with Johannesson, Arnsman and Piganzoli, 4 minutes and 17 seconds down, and Tadej Pogacar is going to be closing in on them very soon. But Pogacar keeps looking over his shoulder to see if Isaac Del Toro's there and involved. He's he's like an oil. He just keeps turning around. 8% gradient. The GC guys are on at the moment. Tadej to Isaac Del Toro. Come on, mate. I expect more. Possibly. But I'm not falling for Isaac Del Toro's bluff yet. I still think it is. I still think he's all good. Lenny Martinez is still the last guy on at the moment. They're about to cross the top of the Col du Galibier, and that is going to be that climb over for another year in the Tour de France. If it goes as things stand, we're not going to see it again until 2028. But we will have to see. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. There's Skelmos crossing the top of the climb now, so he's not far behind. I think he should potentially catch up on the descent with Carlos Verona and Nicola Prodom, giving Remco a teammate, giving Paul Sexas a teammate, and giving Skelmos a fighting chance. We'll have to see on this descent. Obviously, the last time we hit this descent was when Pidcock absolutely ripped it up. That's where we got that. I'm pretty sure that's where that clip came from. Of Pidcock absolutely ripping it down the Galibier. Riccatello's dropped off the back of the breakaway in this descent. He can't keep up with the 4 guys in the descent, and he's almost crashing his bike as well. Well, he's almost falling off his bike, sorry. There was a wee bit of a slip there on a slow-mo. But he's dropped off the back. He's obviously going to go back and help Paul Sexas because he's been left in absolute no man's land on his own with 4 other people because of this pace that Tadej Pogacar is putting. Now, this is... don't go to an ad break. They're going to go to an ad break. And they go to an ad break, right? Over to Multiviewer. Let's get this descent on. Commonwealth Games are on, so it's hard to find the Multiviewer thing. There it is. Here we go, Multiviewer. Right, what are the cameras? Cameras are all over the place. 3 of the cameras aren't showing anything. 3 of the cameras are showing the road. Right, so we've got the front of the race. We've got Tadej Pogacar's group. We've got an aerial camera, and we've got we've got Skelmos' group. Right, so we've got a few cameras up. And is Prodom dropping off the back of Skelmos' group? No one. Well, I mean, the GC group, everyone seems to be fine in it. I mean, Del Toro and Lenny Martinez seem to have a small gap on the other 3 up the road. So, Isaac Del Toro was slowly dropping off the back, and Lenny Martinez went to go up the inside of him, and Isaac Del Toro opened up the knee to go round the corner, and they almost collided. Almost, it was a close call, but they come back together. Lenny Martinez keeps trying to come up the inside of him. Oh, what is going? Lenny Martinez cuts the inside of Del Toro and slots into fourth position. He doesn't want the gap opening up that Del Toro was allowing to be opened. And Martinez, I mean, he's a quick set of balls on him to close that gap and take that corner. As he does so, and he's now the man to control the gap if anything does open. At the front of the breakaway at the moment, it is going to be Jai Hindley leading the charge on the descent with Juan Ayuso in second wheel. Then we've got Seb Kuss in third and Carapaz at the back. Obviously, Riccatello, he's dropped off. We'll figure it soon, but I'm pretty sure he was called back to... Either he was called back or he got dropped from the break to go and help Paul Sexas after Tadej Pogacar's massive effort at the front, leaving the peloton in absolute awe, just watching them all disappear. And leaving no one with any teammates apart from Isaac Del Toro. Skelmoser though, Nicola Prodom and Maxime Van Gils, what's their gap? About 20 seconds. They're 20 seconds down on the GC guys. They should catch up, if not at the bottom, on the flat-ish section before they hit the foot of the Col de Suresnes. But it is now just... it's just watching everyone just in motion going down the Galibier. I always like watching descents, especially descents as big and wide open as a climb like this. And sometimes you just there's no words to describe it. You just have to watch it. Let me catch up on the chat quickly. Taddy leading them along like ducklings. That's one way to put it, Stephanie. You're all good, Robert. You missed correspondence. Peacock showing Robert what's happening at Walmart. Let me see if the actual live coverage is back of this race. Gonna sneeze. Oh, yeah, we're back. We're back on the big screen. We've got 50.4 kilometers to go, 20 kilometers left of descending. I'm waiting for the camera to zoom in on the speedometer of one of the motorbikes just to see how fast we are going. But they've got one in the bottom right-hand corner, the live coverage, saying they're doing about 75 to 77 kilometers an hour. This is for the GC group. So it is. So I can only imagine how fast the breakaway is going to try and keep this gap up. But the gap is 4 minutes and 33 seconds for the GC guys on the front of the race. Matthew Riccatello's 14 seconds down on the breakaway, so maybe he's not dropping back to help Sexas. Maybe he's still staying up the road as a satellite rider and a satellite option. Adam Blythe on the bike. Let's see what he's saying. No, he's just saying that don't count Tadej Pogacar out for the stage. He's saying everyone's talking about Tadej Pogacar babysitting Isaac Del Toro, but you need to be worried that he's also wanting to win the stage. And I mean, if Tadej Pogacar does win back-to-back stages on the Alpe d'Huez, that'll be something. But he is saying that the wind is really, really strong as well on this descent. And we did see that. Oh, here we go. The camera on the speedometer, 100 kilometers an hour for the breakaway. That is how fast the breakaway is going. And that's Seb Kuss at the back of the breakaway. There's three riders in front of him. Richard Carapaz, Juan Ayuso, and Jai Hindley. And they're going 100 kilometers an hour. Round this bend. No issues for anyone. Big wide bend though. That is they'll be happy with that. I feel so bad for the tiny guys on the descents. Yeah, you have to feel for them. Like they are, when they get a gust of wind, they almost take off like Mary Poppins. So you do feel for them on descents like this, especially if they do get caught out, like Riccatello has been caught out and he's now on his own trying to close this gap. There's the Scalmuza group. Scalmuza, Carlos Verona, and Nicola Prodom. They're slowly but surely clawing their way back to this GC group. There's about 3 motorbikes and 2 cars in between them. The gap is saying 10 seconds from this descent. So it is. The order at the moment the order is still the same. Pogacar at the front, Remco second, Sexas third, Lenny Martinez in fourth after his daredevil move in daredevil dive bomb into fourth place, overtaking Isaac Del Toro, who is now in fifth. But is 4 minutes and 30 seconds enough for the breakaway? We've seen 3 minutes weren't enough for the break, or 3.5 minutes, I believe it was, in and around that time, but it wasn't enough for the breakaway up the Alpe d'Huez. This time we've got the Col de Suren, then part of the Alpe d'Huez. So is it going to be enough? I think a lot of people were saying, and I did see someone say that if there was an extra 30 seconds, Carapaz would have got the stage. Don't know how true that would have been. I think Tadej Pogacar might have got out of the saddle and attacked at some point, and I think he still would have brought them back. But it would have been interesting to see if the breakaway did have that extra 30 seconds a minute and they rode the way that they did. 45.9 kilometers to go. The kilometers are brave and quickly dropping off here. It'll not be long until we are hitting the foot off the Col de Suren. And this was the climb that was it was in jeopardy of actually being cut from the Tour de France, I think, before it even started, with landslides and stuff like that. So there was obviously that threat of it potentially being removed from the stage. Thankfully, we do get to do it, and we do get to climb it and see them climb it. I'm just saying we get to climb it as if I'm going up it, but we do get to see them climb it for the first time. Red Bull radio coming through. Try to come back because now Tadej is going flat out in the front. So that's obviously for... Who is it? Sorry, it's Van Gils, not Carlos Verona. No, sorry. Who was I saying? Why was I talking about Carlos Verona and Scalmuza? I thought it was Carlos Verona. I'm baffled, but sorry, it's Maxime Van Gils, sorry, alongside Scalmuza and Prodom. For some reason I thought it was Carlos Verona. But no, it's Van Gils, and that's what the radio was saying. They're telling Maxime Van Gils to get back onto the back of this group, because Tadej Pogacar is going flat out and Remco needs someone near him. Obviously, if buts and maybes, but Lepowitz and Vingegaard would have been in this group as well, so it would have been interesting to see how that played out. Obviously, they both abandoned, unfortunately, but still would have been pretty cool to see how that played out. But, I mean, with the group we've still got, it is still very, very interesting, because you've got the GOAT, Tadej Pogacar, as a domestique. You've got the two young boys in Paul Sexas and Isaac Del Toro trying to prove that they are capable of finishing on a podium in a Grand Tour. Well, obviously, Isaac Del Toro's done it before, but in the Tour de France. And then you've got Remco Evenepoel trying to salvage the glory of 2024 and make up for the faults of 2025. So it is still a very good battle we have got on their hands, as Scalmuza, Nicola Prodom and Maxime Van Gils all make it back on to the GC group, and it now becomes a group of 8. So as things stand, the whole top 5 of the GC is involved. It's top 6, sorry. 7th is up the road by 4 minutes and 30. Carapaz is up the road. Tom Pidcock has dropped, and Jordan Chigata has dropped. So Scalmuza, he'll be happy with that one, knowing that he is back with Lenny Martinez, knowing there's a 9-second gap between them. Will Scalmuza have enough to attack, though? Will Lenny have enough to attack? Because it looked like Scalmuza paced himself up that climb, and it looked like Lenny Martinez attacked the bridge over. So will Lenny have enough in an attack? There's Nicola Prodom going up alongside Paul Sexas, giving him bottles. Just what you want for Paul Sexas. A teammate alongside him, helping him out, and he was able to do that, so Paul Sexas didn't have to do it himself. But we've got the full top 8 involved in this race, 2 of which are in the breakaway. They still have not yet caught Davide Peganzoli, Tymon Arensman and Tobias Hallen-Johannesson. They're somewhere in limbo between Matthew Riccatello and the GC group. Once they do catch them, I mean, if they join the group, none of them bring any... They don't bring any help at all to any other rider involved. It just means they're alongside the GC guys, and I think they would rather stay out the front. Because when they do get onto the back of this GC group, it'll not be long before they go straight out the back. So it will. Happy birthdays all round to whoever celebrate. I think I missed the chat, but happy birthdays to whoever's celebrating the birthday. Looks much smaller. Last climb, I would bet on the breakaway today. I don't usually do that. Oh, Rubber is betting on the breakaway. He's going wild. Let me actually get a poll going up. Let's get a poll. Stage 20 winner. I think it's going to be a breakaway as well. Do I think they're going to catch up? No. So I'm going to put every single rider off the breakaway because we have got 4. I'm going to put every single rider of the breakaway. That's not how you spell Hindley. That's Handley. In the breakaway. Or, yeah, putting every single rider in the poll from the breakaway so we finally have a proper poll going. No more other option. Really see none of these riders win as well. We'll finally have a full poll of riders to vote from. As for who my vote is going to go for, I will tell you as soon as I put it out, but I'm sure you can sort of guess who my vote is going to go towards. So there we go. The poll is out and my vote is going to go for Seb Kuss to win the stage. That is going to be my poll. That is going to be my vote for this stage. Seb Kuss to win it. Will Riccatello make it back on? To be fair, I don't think Jai Hindley will get him. I think Jai Hindley's there specifically for... he's obviously going to be there for Remco. And I think Riccatello's there for the same reason. So I think it's going to be between Juan Ayuso, Richard Carapaz and Seb Kuss. If it does come to a breakaway, we've seen Juan Ayuso drop already. Unless he magically recovers on this descent, I see it coming down between Seb Kuss and Richard Carapaz. And the only reason I'm betting against Carapaz to win it is because of yesterday's stage and stage 18, the efforts he put in them. I think at some point they have to catch up. I mean, we haven't really seen him... Well, I take that back. We have seen him quite a lot with big efforts throughout the past 3 weeks. We've seen him in... What stage was it? We got third in stage 3, but I don't think that was a sprint for the win. What was the stage that he got caught on? I can't remember the name of it. It was stage 10, that's what it was, stage 10. Yeah, he got 11th, so he had a big effort in that one. Then he was in the breakaway in stage 14. Then he was in the breakaway the past 2 days. So, I mean, he's big efforts all around, and I think they're at some point it's going to have to catch him. And I think Seb Kuss being the fresher off the 2, I think he's going to get it. Stephanie's had to suffer 100 commercial breaks. No problem, Kat. Appreciate today's extended coverage given the nature of the stage. No problem. I thought I would try and go live a bit earlier for this one just because of the Galibier, and I thought it deserved a bit of coverage, so it did. With 38 kilometers to go, they're towards the bottom of the descent now, and it should be wrapping up here in the descent, and we should be going towards the Col de Seren for the first time. It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. Which I've said over the past 3 weeks for the 1,000th time. What will you be doing after the tour? So the races I will be doing after the tour are as follows. Just quickly, Juan Ayuso looks around. Who's he complaining with? I think he's having an argument with Seb Kuss. Is Juan Ayuso the new Remco Evenepoel? Juan Ayuso is not happy with what's going on in the breakaway here. Seb Kuss is arguing back with him. So I wonder what is being said here. But just quickly, as for what races I will be doing after this one, I'll be doing the San Sebastian. That is next Sunday. I'm going to be doing the Tour of Poland as well. I'll do the Hamburg. I'm pretty much every World Tour race that I possibly can do. So with San Sebastian, Tour of Poland, Hamburg Classic, the Renui Tour, the Vuelta a España. I won't be able to do the two ones in Canada, the Quebec and Montreal, because they're on at the weekend and they're on at like 10 o'clock and I'm at work then, so I can't do either of those races. But every other race I can possibly do, I will be doing. El Lombardi, I'm not doing the Tour of Guangxi. Not possible. Not doing that tour. And then obviously I'll be doing the Euros and the World Championships as well. So there's still a lot more to come on this channel. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, join the community and all that. So there's still a lot more to come from this channel before the end of the season. And then there's a lot more videos as well to come after the season, preparing for next season as well, and looking over what happened in this season and stuff like that. So it is not all ending after the tour on this one. I'm rooting for Sepp. Ayuso does not recover pretty well. Carapaz is the safest bet, but the riders definitely don't want him to win. I think you're right with that one. I think Carapaz has had his moment of glory, and I think it's fair to give it to someone else. But I mean, if Carapaz goes on to win it, he's a man on a mission. He's a machine. Based on today, Ayuso is the new Remco. So not someone who always asks you to do the Tour of Guangxi. He always does, and every time he's in the chat, he always asks me to do the Tour of Guangxi. I know he's joking because I say I'm trying to do every World Tour race, but I don't think I can do the Tour of Guangxi, to be honest. I'll see when the time comes. I might do it. You never know. See a lot of people talking in the chat just about, when they started getting into cycling, how they got into cycling, what era they were involved in. Just in case anyone's curious, my era was the Chris Froome versus Nairo Quintana age. That was that was my era, the 2014, 15, 16. And then I stopped watching it for a bit. Never really watched over 1920-ish. And then I started watching when Tadej Pogačar won the first tour. And then I started getting into it a bit more. And then I watched it last year's. And obviously this year I'm covering it for the first time live. So, but Chris Froome and Nairo Quintana was my one. And obviously Mark Cavendish, Peter Sagan, and all those boys. 35 kilometres exactly. 35 exact kilometres to go. Not be long until the Col de Seren. They were showing there the Grand Tour stage wins for the four riders in the breakaway. So Richard Carapaz has the most. Obviously, he's the most decorated South American pro or World Tour cyclist now for Grand Tour stage wins. He has 9 stage wins in total. Seb Kuss, he has 4. Jai Hindley has got 3 Grand Tour stage wins, and Juan Ayuso has got 3. Carapaz got 4 in the Giro, 2 in the Tour, and 3 in the Vuelta. Seb Kuss has 1 in both the Giro and the Tour, and he's also got 2 in the Vuelta. So Richard Carapaz and Seb Kuss, the only 2 in the breakaway that have got the Grand Slam of all 3 Grand Tours. Jai Hindley, he's got 2 in the Giro and 1 in the Tour de France, none in the Vuelta. Juan Ayuso, 1 in the Giro, none in the Tour, and 2 in the Vuelta. So that is what it is looking like. Richard Carapaz, he's got the most wins in the Tour with 2, Seb Kuss and Jai Hindley with 1, Juan Ayuso with 0. So will Juan Ayuso be able to get on the board and become another Grand Slam Grand Tour winner? It's Grand Tour stage winner. Sorry, it's a bit early to be called him a Grand Slam Grand Tour winner. Who is this? Matthew Riccatello. The gap for Riccatello to this group of 5 is 34 seconds and growing. The gap for the GC, the peloton now, they're a group of 8, so technically a peloton. They're that big of a group now, but they are 4 minutes and 8 seconds. They're showing Tadej Pogačar's Whoop data. 40% recovery. 84% sleep performance. He had 7.5 hours of sleep. So the recovery is not looking good for Pogačar after yesterday's stage, and I mean rightly so after after his performance. But I think they were saying the average a couple of stages ago was 50. I think that's going to drop a lot more now because of the Alps. But that is what his recovery's at. 40% his sleep performance, 84%, and he had 7.5 hours sleep. Just in case anyone was wondering how many hours Tadej Pogacar went to bed for, 7.5 hours. And they said there he had 9.5 hours sleep last night. So just in case anyone was curious. So if you are just joining the stream, as things stand, I mean, it has been a pretty weird one, especially with the Galibier. It did play a big factor into this race. We've got a group of 4 up the front of the road. It's Seb Kuss, Jai Hindley, Juan Ayuso and Richard Carapaz. 34 seconds down. We're coming to the bottom of the descent of the Galibier. That's why I'm just going to give a quick overview. So Riccatello, 34 seconds down in that group of 4 at the front. Davide Pigganzoli and Tobias Hallen-Johannesson, as Tobias Hallen-Johannesson just gets caught there by the peloton. Where's Davide Pigganzoli though? So Davide Pigganzoli still in limbo there between Riccatello and the peloton, but the riders remaining in this peloton, I don't even know if you could call them a peloton, but Tadej Pogacar, Isaac Del Toro, Remco Evenepoel, Maxime Van Gils, Matthias Skalmuza, Paul Sexas, Nicola Prudhomme, and Lenny Martinez. 8 riders, and the reason there are 8 riders in this peloton is because Grosschartner was at the front of the peloton. The peloton was pretty big, significantly big, and Tadej Pogacar, General Pogacar cycles up alongside him, has a wee whisper in the ear. Grosschartner drops off. Tadej Pogacar goes to the front and he absolutely drills it. The peloton splits in all forms. There's splits everywhere. And Pogacar had Del Toro, Evenepoel, and Sexas with him. That was what was left after Tadej Pogacar's. I wouldn't even call it an attack. It was after Tadej Pogacar's domestique work. And Lenny Martinez was able to bridge the gap across, and then we had a group of Skalmuza, Nicola Prudhomme, and Maxime Van Gils trying to chase. They did catch on the descent, but they are currently about 4 minutes and something down. PCS is saying 4:05, but I think it's like 4:11. I think the last time I seen. So it is, but that is how it is currently looking. Aronsman is also up the road. I forgot about that. I don't know where he is alongside Pigganzoli, but Johannesson has been caught. But yeah, that is just the quick brief overview of how things currently stand in this race. I'm just catching up the chat, sorry. Keep it up. Thank you, Scott. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Started watching in the 80s with Roach, Kelly, Robert Miller era. I'm on an ad break now as well, so got the let me go to the multiview because I don't want to watch that Little Trek advert of them trying to sprint with the child on the bike. Right, here we go. Back on the multiview. Early finish today, considering the climb. So so I think it is an early finish. I think it's finishing in the next hour. Well, I mean, it's gonna finish in the next hour because they've got 30 kilometers left. But before the stage started, they were saying the estimated time of arrival is around about 3:30 in the UK, and it's currently 2:30. So. Right, so it seems as though Aronsman has crashed on the descent. I mean, obviously there is a break. Are they back on? Because the commentators are speaking as though there's no one on the ad break. But the multi-view, yeah, they're still on an ad break. I'll just sit and wait for the ad, the finish. But they were saying there that apparently Tymon Aronsman has crashed. And he's apparently, scuffs all over him. Riccatello's still in on his own. Stephanie's heartbroken watching him out on his own. But yeah, Aronsman crashed. Apparently, I went on the multiviewer, but the multiviewer doesn't show. So there's the main feed, and then the multiviewer has 4 separate cameras that doesn't show the main feed. I think they should show the main feed in the multiviewer and then 3 other cameras. but the main feed doesn't show on the multi-viewer, and they were saying that I just heard them go, Aronsman doesn't look good, and then they were like saying, he must have crashed. So apparently Aronsman's crashed. I'm going to wait for this ad break to finish, so then they'll obviously show a replay of it. So they will, but I feel stupid watching this ad break. I think we're coming off it now. But the Col de Seren is up next. Are they at the foot of it? They're 1 kilometer to the foot of the Col de Seren. Right, we're back, right? So let me quickly swap over. So there's what the final looks like. There is the final 27 kilometers in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. It does cover Tom Pidcock and Jordan Gigat, and part of Richard Carapaz. But I mean, Pidcock, Gigat have dropped. It's only really Richard Carapaz and above we need to worry about for GC. Pardon me. Just giving an aerial shot. The PC, like I said, PCS were saying they're 1 kilometer from the foot of the Col de Seren. They've got the aerial camera on the GC guys at the moment. There we go. Aronsman is involved in the GC group now. So I wonder, yes, I think he has crashed. There's blood on his right elbow. So he must have hit the deck at some point, which is unfortunate for him and just adds to the toll of net companies. Not so good Tour de France. As the breakaway hit the foot off the Col de Seren, so it seems. I mean, the crowd's out in full force and they're going uphill, so unless there's a hill before it. But they are on the Col de Seren. That is what the Col de Seren looks like. It looks like a scary climb. There is a small descent in it. It's 13 kilometers, it's 7.3%, but I'm sure if you remove that small descent, about 2-3 kilometers, it looks like there's 2 descents on it. So I'm sure if you remove them descents in it, the percentage will be a lot higher. But look at the final 5 kilometers off that climb. That looks awful. Absolutely awful. But we've got 4 riders up the front of the road to entertain us on this climb with a gap of 3:30 for the GC guys behind. This is going to get interesting. Will Remco attack? I don't think he will, especially with Pogacar working as domestique, but I would love him to attack. I'm expecting a Paul Sexas attack. We have to see Sexas attack if he still is in the group. If he drops, obviously we're not going to see an attack, and we're going to see the white jersey slowly slip out of his fingers. But but if he's still in the front group, I expect him. Well, not even I expect him. He needs to attack. He needs to attack. John, the Gruppetto is under 19 minutes at the moment, and John also said the cutoff is estimated 50 to 55 minutes on the winning time, so maybe they seem all good at the moment. Well, obviously they're all good. They're 30 to 35 minutes off the time cut, but as for the poll, just a quick look at the poll. If you haven't voted on the poll, go and vote in the poll. Let me know who you believe is going to win from this front group of 4. Maybe if you haven't voted, I will take that as you believe the GC guys are going to go on to win it, as they are only 3 minutes and 22 seconds down. But Seb Kuss has the majority vote of 47%. Richard Carp has 42%, so only a 5% distance. Jai Hindley with 5, Juan Ayuso with 5, so now Juan Ayuso has 10. So someone just give Juan Ayuso a vote. Someone thinks Juan Ayuso is going to grab it. But at the moment, front of the race, Richard Carapaz is leading them up the Col de Seren. Jai Hindley in second wheel, Seb Kuss third wheel, and Juan Ayuso at the back. 12.1 kilometres until the top of the Col de Seren. Carapaz and Jai Hindley out of the saddle on either side of the road. As Juan Ayuso goes up the middle of them out of the saddle, is he going to take his turn, or is he going to do some form of an attack? Or it looks like Juan Ayuso's taking... What is Juan... Juan Ayuso's taken over, I guess. He's opened a gap on Carapaz, Kuss, and Jai Hindley closes it down. As Jai Hindley attacks. Attack from Jai Hindley. He sets back down. Small attack from Jai Hindley. Maybe he's just testing the waters, seeing how everyone's feeling. but I didn't. For the first attack, I did not expect it to be Jai Hindley, as the GC guys hit the Col de Seren. Like, the speed they hit that climb on, wow. But Tadej Pogacar is still at the front, and he has been leading at the front of this peloton for about, I'd say, near 55 kilometers. He was leading towards the top of the Galibier. He was leading on the descent. He was leading in the valley before the Col de Seren, and now he's leading at the top, or the foot of the Col de Seren, as Nicola Prodom takes over. Nicola Prodom's going to do his signature out of the saddle with a massive gap on the GC guys' pace at the front, with Paul Sexas 6 places down. I genuinely don't get this one. This makes no sense to me. We've seen Nicola Prodom do this 3 times. Well, I think it's 3. It's definitely 2. I can't remember. I think someone else from Decathlon did it, or another team did it. But Nicola Prodom on the radio. What is... I mean, I know they're trying to get time, but Paul Sexas isn't really... He's about 6th or 7th, and, well, he's actually moved up. He was 5th, and Nicola Prodom takes his foot off the gas. I'm baffled. Nicola Prodom does his signature out of the saddle with about a 5 bike length gap on the GC guys, with Paul Sexas down a bit, and nothing really happens. Nicola Prodom now drops back. Tadej Pogacar takes over at the front. Remco in 2nd wheel, Maxime Van Gils in 3rd wheel, Paul Sexas in 4th wheel. Isaac Del Toro, I believe, is on the wheel of Paul Sexas, and we have got Lenny Martinez, Skelmose, Johannesson, and Tymon Arnsman struggling at the back. Well, I think Johannesson and Arnsman are struggling at the back. Not so sure about Skelmose and Lenny Martinez though. But Nicola Prodom was obviously told over the radio to wind your neck in and drop back a bit. He obviously got a bit too carried away. 11.3 kilometers to the top. Johannesson slowly dropping off the back of the GC guys. Hopefully there's no issues with the crowd on this, because, I mean, if you've seen the video yesterday with Einar Rubio, I mean, it was bound to happen at some point, with the excitement so high, and it was just unfortunate that it happened the way it did. If you didn't see the video, the cars were going up. You know, obviously Johannesson and Einar Rubio were alongside each other in a group off the... Well, they weren't off the front, because the front Tadej Pogacar had passed them, but they were off the front of the GC guys, the other GC guys, and Einar Rubio was behind the UAE car, and some fan, like, stumbled and, like, just stopped himself as before he fell out in the road. The UAE car hit the brakes, emergency stop, and Einar Rubio straight into the back of the UAE car, smashed the back window as his head hit the back window, and just above the back window as well. And I think he says it's like 10 stitches or something he's getting. He had to be taken away in the ambulance helicopter to the local hospital to get stitches, and he did look pretty banged up. His whole face, he was like a mummy. His like whole face was wrapped up. So obviously speedy recovery for him, but hopefully the fans are on a lot better behaviour today. Just quickly as well, I want to go through the riders that obviously Einar Rubio abandoning yesterday. Why did I say it like that, as if it was his last name? Pascal Ackermann, he abandoned today's race, and so did Illian Van Wilder. I'm pretty sure Illian Van Wilder also crashed today. That's why he abandoned. As for yesterday, who abandoned yesterday? Obviously, it was Eduardo Affini and Einar Rubio. They were the only 2. Everyone else made the time cut. But the 2 that abandoned today, Pascal Ackermann and Illian Van Wilder. Front of the breakaway. Juan Ayuso and Jai Hindley had a gap on Seb Kuss and Carapaz, and Jai Hindley has now attacked Juan Ayuso as Seb Kuss and Carapaz bridge across to Juan Ayuso, and Jai Hindley's going clear. Juan Ayuso seems to have cracked. Seb Kuss passes Juan Ayuso with Carapaz in the wheel, and are going to try and bridge across to Jai Hindley. Jai Hindley's going for this. He's not waiting for Remco. He's in a satellite rider in my hole. I'm away for this one. I want the stage win. Juan Ayuso seems to have dropped. Yeah, Juan Ayuso's cracked. Juan Ayuso is done. So for all the people that voted for Juan Ayuso in the poll, I feel for you. He's gone. The gap is 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Tadej Pogacar's still at the front. I don't expect anyone else to go to the front. As Seb Kuss puts in his attack, Jai Hindley gets caught by Seb Kuss and Carapaz, and Seb Kuss gets out of the saddle. He puts in a very small attack, but Jai Hindley and Carapaz are able to go with him. Or are we seeing Carapaz slowly start to crack there now? Are we going to see... We've got the 3 Grand Tour winners in the front 3 in the breakaway. 3 previous Grand Tour winners, and all 3 are up the front of the road on their own. Yeah, Carapaz seems to have cracked. He's slowly started the distance. The gap has opened up, and he can't keep up with the pace of Seb Kuss and Jai Hindley. As Seb Kuss is going clear with Jai Hindley, Carapaz in the distance. Wanayoso, Wanayoso's gone. Don't know where Wanayoso is, but we've got two. We went from 4 down to 2, and the 2. I mean, Richard Carapaz had 41% of the vote. He's gone. Jai Hindley has 7% of the vote. He's still here. And Seb Kuss has 41% of the vote, and he's still here. So are 7% of the people going to be right, or 41%, or none of you is going to be right, and the GC are going to catch them? 2 minutes and 30 seconds is the gap. Will they be able to work together? I did see someone in the chat saying they're going to make the same mistake as yesterday, and the breakaway's not going to work together, but they do look as though they are working together. I mean, Jai Hindley was doing his pull, Seb Kuss goes to the front and he gets out of the saddle, but I think they don't want Carapaz to catch up. Camera pans back to the GC group. The camera pans back to the GC group, and Tadej Pogacar's still at the front, and he's able to. Tadej Pogacar goes for the back of the car. He's able to give a thumbs up, and he's been at the front the entire time, setting his pace. Crazy. There we go. Jai Hindley's been distant. Seb Kuss is going solo. 23.4 kilometers to go. 9 kilometers until the top of the Col de Seren. And Seb Kuss has gone solo. Jai Hindley can't keep up. Carapaz is 11 seconds down and closing on Jai Hindley. But Seb Kuss is going up the road on his own with a gap of 2:31 to the breakaway to the peloton. But Seb Kuss has gone clear. I'm going to sneeze again. No. Or to say again, I don't want to sneeze at all. I think most of us thought Jai was here as a satellite rider for Remco. Me and you both, Lynn. That's what I thought was happening. But Jai Hindley has a mind of his own, and he wants a stage win. Obviously, that doesn't look like it's going to happen anymore, as Carapaz is closing the gap. There's about a couple of bike lengths between them, and he's going to catch Jai Hindley here eventually. The gap is now 15 seconds from themselves to Seb Kuss. You can't see Seb Kuss up the road, but he's getting more blurry as he goes further up the climb. 2 minutes and 44 seconds is the distance from the GC guys to Seb Kuss, and it's growing. Are we going to see Visma Leasebike pull it off on the final stage? Or the final mountain stage, sorry. We're going to see them avenge the Jonas Vingegaard avenge the Eduardo Affini abandoning the race. And we're going to see Seb Kuss pick up the win. Still 22.8 kilometers to go, so I am not saying anything. 8.5 kilometers until the top of the Col de Seren. Good afternoon, poker. How's Tadej doing so far? Well, I will just give you a quick overview. So he took over at the front of the peloton. All UAE's teammates disappeared, and he took over at the front just towards the top of the Galibier with about 4 kilometers. He went to the front, annihilated the entire peloton down to 4 or 5 riders. So he did. 3 riders were able to join up at the foot of on the descent of the Galibier, and then they also picked up a few riders that were straggling in the breakaway. So we've got a group of 11. Tadej Pogacar is still at the front of the peloton and has been for the past near 40 kilometers, and he's still at the front on the Col de Seren, and they're 2 minutes and 50 down on the breakaway. Tadej Pogacar is obviously doing the work for Isaac Del Toro. Could Remco actually use a satellite? Oh, Maxime Van Gils is cracked. No more teammates for Remco. The only teammate left, Jai Hindley, up the road, and he cracked. Trying to get the stage win and try and get away. So, what is going to happen with Remco here? Remco's got no teammates. Paul Sexas has 1 teammate remaining. Lenny Martinez and Skalmuza have none. Tobias Hall and Johannesson struggling to hang on at the back. Timon Aronsman has actually dropped from this group, and we are now down to a group of 7. 7 riders left in the peloton. But I think Remco's going to be all good. I think he'll be grand. Well, Remco shout at Jai if they catch him. We'll have to wait and see if that does happen. If he gets a talon off from Remco, it's possible. No worries, Cat. I'm not sure Taddy will give Isaac Del Toro the win. I think they're just trying to secure the way. Yeah, I agree with you, Lynn. I mean, if I was Taddy Pogacar, I wouldn't be given the win, especially after all the work I'd done I'd done that day. I'd be saying, I've got you the white jersey and I've kept you on the podium. I'm taking this win. I'll give you the win there in stage 2. That's about it. Enjoy the white jersey. Hindley was probably told to wait for Remco. I don't think that is what happened. I think Jai Hindley did hit. Jai Hindley was going for it. He was going for it, and I think Jai Hindley did start to crack. And I mean, he could have. Pardon me. He could have possibly weighed up his options. He could have went. I could go with Seb Kuss and crack towards the top, or I could potentially just slowly go at my own pace and see if Remco's able to catch us. But the time gap is up to 3 minutes. Could Seb Kuss do this? Right, let me get a new poll going. Carapaz's gap is still 15 seconds. Ever since Carapaz caught Jai Hindley, it has stayed at 15 seconds. Either they haven't updated it, or it actually is staying at 15 seconds. Riccatello is 1 minute and 56 seconds down, so he's a minute ahead of the breakaway. Or, why do I keep getting them mixed up? Riccatello's a minute up the road on the peloton, so when they do eventually catch him, Paul Sexas will have 2 teammates remaining, and Nicola Prodom and Riccatello. That could potentially help. But, I mean, with Tadej Pogacar at the front, absolutely drilling it here, I highly doubt it. Closing the 20 kilometre mark now. I'm going to change it to 20. 6.4 kilometres until the top off the Col de Seren. Why was I going to call him Paul Sexas? Seb Kuss is up the road on his own with a 14-second gap, so it is going 13. So Carapaz and Jai Hindley are slowly but surely 12. 30, that's going up, but slowly but surely catching and closing the gap on Seb Kuss. Will we be able to see a group of 3 here going over the top of the Col de Seren? Carapaz is at the front. He's the one setting the pace with Jai Hindley in the wheel. You can see the motorbikes that are behind Seb Kuss just up the road, and the gap is now down to 12 seconds. Riccatello, he's 40 seconds ahead of the peloton, so he's going to get caught fairly soon. Don't know where Juan Ayuso is. PCS are saying he's 45 seconds down, but he cracked fairly early on the Col de Seren after his attempt to try and go solo himself, or actually go as a duo with Jai Hindley. Tadej is Remco's best domestic. see if Remco wins again, and see if I hear the comments about Tadej give him the win. I see if Remco wins on the up days. I think that'll be crazy. I think that would be very, very crazy. There's Jai Hindley at the front now with Carapaz in the wheel. There's Seb Kuss just up the road. 11 seconds is the gap. 10 seconds now. They are going to bring him back. It looks as though they are going to bridge the gap. These two are working together, and it is succeeding as things stand. 9 seconds the gap. The breakaway have finally figured out how to work together as Nicola Prodom takes over at the front of the peloton. Paul Sexas now in second wheel. He's in a much better spot for a Prodom special. So Nicola Prodom, we've seen him at the foot of the climb. He goes to the front, takes a 5 bike length gap, and Sexas is about 7 riders down. But this time, Paul Sexas is sat in second wheel, and Nicola Prodom now goes to the front. Isaac Del Toro on the wheel of Sexas. He's not letting him out of his sight. Tadej Pogacar now drops into fourth wheel. Remco still on the wheel of Tadej Pogacar. On the wheel of Remco, we've got Lenny Martinez, then Skalmuza, then Johannesson. But Prodom at the front. If they catch Riccatello and Riccatello stays, this could play well for Decathlon. Do we see a Paul Sexas attack over the top of the, or before the top of the Col de Seren? What's the... Sexas looks as though he's struggling. It looks as though I'm not gonna lie, he looks the worst out of the entire 8 guys in this peloton. He's the only one that's like hunched over the handlebars, and he looks as though he is just struggling. Riccatello just up the road by 10 seconds. He is going to drop back. Will he be able to help Sexas with something, or will... I mean, if he's like Del Toro with tax, I think it'll be game over for Sexas here. I'm not actually sure what is going to happen here or how things are going to play out. But if you are just joining him, we've got one rider up the road in Seb Kuss. 3 seconds down is Jai Hindley and Carapaz. 45 seconds down is Juan Ayuso. Riccatello now joins from the breakaway to the peloton and makes it a 9-man peloton. And we've got Matthew Riccatello, Prodom, Paul Sexas all at the front of the peloton. Isaac Del Toro's in 4th wheel. Remco's in 5th. Tadej Pogacar is now on the wheel of Remco in 6th wheel. Lenny Martinez, Skalmoza and Johannesson are the final 3 riders in the peloton, as Carapaz has given absolutely everything here to catch up to Seb Kuss. Seb Kuss, I still think he's still the freshest out of these 3. These 2 have had to work hard to bring him back. Seb Kuss is just able to ride his own pace. He looks over his left shoulder, sees they're about to catch him. Will he put in an attack? 5 kilometers to go to the top of the climb, or will he just allow them to catch him and just ride at his own pace? Carapaz will attack his brake compatriots. As he catches Seb Kuss, gets out of the saddle, goes to the front of the 3. Will he put in an attack, or will he just try and set the pace? 2 minutes and 18 seconds is the gap. As I was going to say, Prodom second wheel. So Riccatello's now at the front. Decathlon are the strongest team in this peloton with the most riders. But Paul Sexas does look as though he's struggling. This is, I mean, I said it in week 2. I said it at the start of week 3. But this is the first time we are seeing Paul Sexas in a Grand Tour. The first time we're seeing him and what he's capable of in 3 weeks. And he's currently sat 10 minutes down on Tadej Pogacar in GC. So I predicted him to finish in 7th. And I think he's proven me wrong, put it that way. He's had an absolute sensational ride. And I'm glad he proved me wrong, because I wanted him to. A lot of people said he was going to win a stage. He didn't win a stage, but it looks as though he's winning the hearts of the French people with where he's currently sat. Now, don't get me wrong, there is still 19 kilometers to go, so we don't know what could happen here. But he's still doing good. Carapaz can work with him. He will surely win the sprint. Ride smart. But I think Seb Kuss and Jai Hindley know that, so I think they're just going to leave Carapaz to his own devices at the front, and then we're going to see Carapaz attack. They're going to follow. Then we're going to see a counter attack. But Nicola Prodom's now at the front. Riccatello in second wheel. They're all out of the saddle. The only one not out of the saddle in the Decathlon squad is Paul Sexas. He's still sat in third wheel. Maybe Sexas is bluffing. Maybe he has a good poker face on him. But, I mean, his face at the moment, he's gritting the teeth. Skalmoza's dropped. Skalmoza has just dropped. That will be... I mean, Lenny Martinez will be brilliant and delighted to hear that, knowing that Skalmoza is 9 seconds behind him. 5 kilometers to go until the top of the Col de Seren for the GC guys. And we've now... Did Johannesson drop as well? So Nicola Prodom's gone. Johannesson is gone. Skalmoza's gone. So that leaves us down to a group of 6. I think we're left with a group of 6 here. Skalmoza is back on. We're back up to a group of 7. Skalmoza has caught back up. If Lenny Martinez looks over his right shoulder, he's going to see a ghost. Skalmoza is back on, and he's right behind him. He got back. Del Toro still on the wheel off Sexas. Carapaz, he sat in second wheel in the breakaway with Jai Hindley currently leading them out. Seb Kuss, he's in third wheel. 4 kilometers to go for these boys at the front as Carapaz now takes over at the front. 2 minutes is the gap of the GC guys to the front of the race. Juan Ayuso is 1 minute and 3 down, so he's 1 minute in front of the peloton, and he's 1 minute behind the breakaway. Camera is now on Juan Ayuso for the first time in quite some time. He still looks as though he's struggling. I think he's just riding at his own pace, but obviously he has his first Grand Tour riding with Little Trek. I don't really know whether to call it a success or not. Now, don't forget, he hasn't had the best of seasons with, crashes and illnesses. He obviously abandoned the Etsulia, abandoned the Paris-Nice, so we never got to see him there. We did see him return in the Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes, where he did really, really impress in the last 2 stages, picking up second in the past 2 stages and got second and third in GC as well. So that gave a bit of hope going into the Tour de France. But it looks as though it has been catching up with him over the past couple stages, as he did drop very, very early on yesterday. And he was involved in the breakaway today, but he didn't really last long on the final climb, or the second to last climb today. But Riccatello at the front, out of the saddle, ripping it up the Col de Sérène with Paul Sexas in second wheel. Where's Tadej Pogacar? Tadej Pogacar's in fifth wheel. Think he's happy enough to sit there. Tour de France just put out a... Tour de France just put out a tweet about... Oh, you're joking. The final stage, the last stage of the Tour de France has just been cut in half due to wildfires. The race is going on, but this has just came through. So Riccatello's still at the front. He's going to drop off soon, and we're going to see an attack from Paul Sexas. As Paul Sexas looks as though he's trying to shake off all the tiredness as he goes to the front. Paul Sexas at the front. Riccatello drops off. 4 kilometers to go. Are we going to see a move from Paul Sexas? Isaac Del Toro in the wheel. Make a move. Or is he just going to pace? I think he's just going to pace. I tell you what, Isaac Del Toro is looking comfortable on his wheel. Paul Sexas gritting the teeth in first position. 1 minute and 56 seconds is the gap to the breakaway. Will they catch the breakaway? Doesn't look likely. And there's Tadej Pogacar. He gets the nod from Isaac Del Toro. Tadej Pogacar moves from 4th position alongside Isaac Del Toro. Look at this. They're just bullying him. They're having a conversation in second wheel behind Paul Sexas. How are we going to bully him today? What are we going to do? They're talking tactics, and what is the move going to be? I'm actually feeling for Paul Sexas here at the moment. They're going to I'm scared to see what happens, because that is not good. He calls the general up beside him, whispers in his ear. It's like something out of The Godfather. There's Seb Kuss as he has went solo. Seb Kuss solo at the front with 3 kilometers until the top of the climb. Jai Hindley and Carapaz side by side with each other, not knowing what to do, as Seb Kuss hits a 3 kilometer banner to the top of this climb. What's the gap? Maybe about 5 seconds, I'd say. I'd say roughly about 5 seconds, but whilst I'm just looking at this, I want to read that as numerous fires are currently affecting mainland France, particularly this emergency services are fully mobilised to combat disasters, while internal security forces are contributing to securing the affected areas and protecting the population. In this context, the minister has decided to redeploy part of the internal security force initially mobilised to ensure the security of the final stage of the Tour de France in order to strengthen measures. Because of this, the route of the 21st stage is reduced to 89 kilometers. Oh no, what's going on? I'm missing loads of stuff on. So Isaac Del Toro's now at the front. Paul Sexas struggling to hang on at the back, and it looks like we're going to have the same final 3 that we did have in stage 15. Isaac Del Toro at the front, Remco in second wheel, Pogacar third wheel. Lenny Martinez is able to hold on, but Paul Sexas is distance. Lenny Martinez is now distance. Skelmos is away at the back. Skelmos is gone. Will Paul Sexas be able to get back? I think Paul Sexas has cracked. I think we've seen the limit being hit for Paul Sexas, and he survived 20 stages. He survived, but we're finally seeing the limit be hit on the final mountain stage, the Queen stage, the hardest stage of the Tour de France, and it looks as though the limit has been hit for Paul Sexas. Isaac Del Toro now at the front. He's going to do the work for Tadej Pogacar, knowing that Paul Sexas has dropped, and I think we're looking at a potential Tadej Pogacar win here, I think, as things stand. But just quickly on the final stage, the route of the 21st stage is reduced to 89 kilometers compared to the 33 kilometer initial plan. So we've chopped off We've chopped off near 50 kilometers for the final stage. I mean, I suppose that's. I mean, the first half of the stage, nothing really happens anyway, so I suppose it's pretty good. The Mont Martre is still involved, like, but the final stage has been cut in half. Jai Hindley's gone. Carapaz is the only person left to chase down Seb Kuss. The gap is 5 seconds. Jai Hindley's going to drop back to help. I'm pretty sure that's why he's disappeared. He's either dropped because he's completely hit the limit, or he's away back to help Remco. But it looks as though we're finally seeing the GC start to wrap up here. You hear explain. So is Pogacar going for the stage win? How many minutes behind? I think Pogacar's going for the stage win now. Pogacar's back to the front. Isaac Del Toro in second wheel. Looks as though he's struggling now. I don't actually know. I can't give you the answer on that one because I'm not actually quite sure what's happening with the UAE boys here. But Remco's still sat in third wheel. Tell you what, Remco hasn't had to do anything today. Remco's looked as comfortable as ever. It's been Decathlon and UAE battling it out on this one. And Remco's just comfortably going along and looking to secure his second place. Now, obviously, Isaac Del Toro is 2 minutes and 31 seconds behind him in GC, so he obviously has to keep an eye on that. But Remco's looking as comfortable as ever. Scalmoza has caught up to Paul Sexas. They are currently near 15 seconds down on the GC guys. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this poll. Need to change the poll. Need to change the poll because it has changed quite significantly here. So don't have enough time to do first names and flags, but and I'm not putting other. I think it's going to be one of these boys that go on to win them. I think we're looking at the winner in these four guys. I don't think Isaac Del Toro will win the stage, but I think it is going to be one of those four guys going to win the stage. So get into the poll, vote on who you think is going to go on to win stage 20. Juan Ayuso here, he is slowly but surely being caught by Tadej Pogacar. I mean, the pace Tadej Pogacar is riding at, it makes Juan Ayuso look as though he's going walking speed. But Juan Ayuso is going to get swept up. Remco Evenepoel grabs a bottle, throws the ice pack to the side that was attached to the bottle. He's not feeling the heat. But Juan Ayuso gets caught. Will he be able to hold the wheel off these four GC guys or not? He gets onto the back of the group. How long will he be able to last though? But Pogacar's still at the front. 1 minute and 50 seconds is the gap, and it's going up. 1.5 kilometers to the top of the climb, so we're just about to hit the top of the Col de Sorem. And I must say, for the first time ever going up it, it does look like it is a pretty good climb. There's Carapaz out of the saddle, 4 seconds behind Seb Kuss, and he's out of the saddle. He's attacking, he's trying to bridge across, and he just can't. He's so close, but he's so far as well. 7 seconds is the gap now. Seb Kuss, he's cool hand look on this one. Cool hand Seb. 1.4 kilometers, and he looks as comfortable as ever. 15.7 kilometers to go. Richard Carapaz closes the gap around that bend. He takes the inside of the corner. Seb Kuss takes the outside, and Carapaz gets out of the saddle. Again, Carapaz hates his saddle. He's always standing out of it. But Seb Kuss, he looks good up here. Remco did something right in his training, says Steve, and I agree with that one. There's Jai Hindley. So where is Jai Hindley compared to the other guys chasing? I mean, I don't think he's going to give much help to Remco if they do get caught. So maybe he did actually crack, and he did lose. Did end up losing the wheel of Carapaz. But yeah, I agree with Steve. It looks like Remco has he wised up, and he took the Tour de France serious, and he's finishing it this year. We hadn't seen him. We didn't see. We haven't seen him race. Like Liège-Bastogne-Liège was his last race before the Tour de France, so he took a completely different route compared to a lot of people preparing for this race. He rode niche, absolutely nothing, and it looks as though it is working out. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone else takes the route that Remco took next year going into the Tour de France. Obviously, Tadej Pogacar, I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to still try and win absolutely everything he can possibly win. But we've got a group of four. Wanyusu's gone. He disappeared. He did a wee magic trick there and he's gone. But we've got the group of four: Tadej Pogacar, Isaac Del Toro, Remco Evenepoel, and Lenny Martinez. Will Lenny Martinez be able to overtake Paul Sexas and Paul Sexas drop down into fifth? The gap is 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Not at the moment, I'm talking about on GC. The gap at the moment between them is 30 seconds. So will the GC guys be able to take 2 minutes out of Sexas here? 800 metres until the top of the Col de Seren for Seb Kuss. There's Jai Hindley. And if you are watching it live, I mean, there's not a single member of crowd on the side of the road. And I think that is due to safety reasons, because I think this is the part where they were looking at potentially cancelling this climb because of the landslides and stuff. So the only people at the side of the road are going to be motorbikes at stops, photographers and stuff like that. So I think they have closed this bit off to the public. So I'm sort of scared to see what the Alpe d'Huez is looking like, because the Alpe d'Huez yesterday was absolutely manic. And we're only doing, 4 kilometres of the Alpe d'Huez. So it is going to be very interesting to see how many people are on this Alpe d'Huez. I think you're probably, if everyone still stayed, I think you're probably hardly going to be able to see the grass. But hopefully there are barriers up this time. But there's Richard Carapaz still in the distance. Seb Kuss just slowly but surely just taking time out of him. Jai Hindley's a minute down. The GC group is still 1 minute and 51. So as things stand, it looks like Seb Kuss is going on. And no one's going to be able to catch him. 500 metres is the gap. Tadej Pogacar emptying water over him. I'd love to see a Remco attack. Even though it means absolutely nothing. I'd just love to see Remco attack here. Tadej Pogacar offers some water to Remco. Remco declines. But Lenny Martinez is the one struggling to hold on to the back here, as this climb looks as steep as anything. They've got the camera behind the group of four, and you just see the road, and it's just up and up and up. 300 metres to the top for Seb Kuss. Paul Sexas is now in a group of three with Wanyusu and Skelmoza. Skelmoza is in front of Wanyusu. Wanyusu joins the back of the group. Skelmoza is still leading them out. Carapaz is now 18 seconds down. The GC group is near 2 minutes. 3 seconds off 2 minutes at 1:57. Remco's interview where he had tears in his eyes talking about all the hate broke my heart. I didn't actually see that interview. Cat hates Remco haters. Lenny Martinez needs another 10 seconds sticky bottle to teleport him to Hindley. What did I miss? Is this yesterday's stage again? Seb Kuss is going to win the stage. Seb Kuss is out solo on his own with a 17-second gap on Richard Carapaz. So it is pretty much a near carbon copy replica of yesterday. Just no Lenny Martinez in the break. He's a part of the GC group today, as Seb Kuss crosses the top off the climb. Richard Carapaz 16 seconds. Look at the steepness of that climb. That is crazy. It's another one you'd struggle to walk up. With the total of 7 people waiting at the top of the climb. That's how many people were waiting at the top of that climb. They're now onto the descentish part. As you can see, that is what the final 20 or 30 kilometres of the stage looks like. They have just crossed the top of the highest category climb there that is covering Skelmoza's flag, and they're now down on the descent. And then there's another wee kicker up towards the... How many kilometres left? Maybe about 10 kilometres left. And then they go downhill until they hit the... not the bottom of the Alpe d'Huez, but they join back onto the Alpe d'Huez about 4 kilometres ish from the top of it. Would you like some water? This stuff's easy for me. There was a video yesterday of Tadej Pogacar picking up a bottle from the side of the road, and he empties it over his face, and it wasn't water. It must have been one of the mixtures that they had, but he squirts it over his face, realizing he was really annoyed. He threw it to the side. I thought it was quite funny. Visma Leasebike, come on Seb, come on now. Now we go, no way back anymore. There's no way back. So Visma Leasebike are cheering on Seb Kuss at the front, who still remains on his own with a 20-second gap. This does look like a bumpy... it looks like a very bumpy descent, and a very technical descent as well. That corner looks very, very tight. But Seb Kuss able to get around it. This does look like a very, very dodgy descent, I'm not going to lie. Very narrow road. I mean, patches of where tarmac has been placed all over the place. I've seen Sepp Kuss's bike was juddering going down the descent, so it's going to be it'll be interesting here with this GC group and how they take this descent, and how Paul Sexas takes the descent as well. If he tries to make up the time lost, the time is now 40 seconds as the GC guys cross the top of the Col de Seren, and Paul Sexas has another 40 seconds before he hits it. Can I show who's in the breakaway and the time to the next group? I haven't yet figured out how to do that. I still need to figure out how to get like a live graphic going of the breakaway and the peloton. I'm not sure how easy that would be able to do, but if you ever want an update, just ask in the chat. I can give you an update, and I'll give you one now. Sepp Kuss, 11.7 kilometers to go. Carapaz is 21 seconds down on his own. Then we've got the GC guys, which are 2 minutes and 5 seconds down. That includes Pogacar, Del Toro, Evenepoel, Lenny Martinez. And then Paul Sexas's group, 2 minutes and 44 seconds down the road with Juan Ayuso, Skelmuza, and Paul Sexas. So that is what it's looking like. Jai Hindley's also involved. He's between Carapaz and the GC group. He's about a minute down on Sepp Kuss, so he is, and he's on his own. I'm torn. I want Sepp and Tadej to win. Also Remco. Oh heck. I want the best performer to win. Kuss then Carapaz at 20 seconds and Tadej at 2 minutes. So it was just an update. Don't hate Remco. I just noticed he had a tendency to never win Grand Tours except for that one Vuelta that Primoz abandoned. I think we're all a bit torn today for the winner. Let me have a look at the polls. So Sepp Kuss for the winner, 24% are voting for him. Carapaz at 9%, Tadej Pogacar at 65%, and Remco with the 3% of the vote. 10.9 kilometers to go, and they are on this wee uphill section. Let me get the red arrow out quickly. There's the and it's behind it. Of course, it's behind it. There's the red arrow. We're somewhere here. We're on the uphill section now. We've got a freshly paved road as well, which looks as though it was done for this Tour de France. But a freshly paved road that Sepp Kuss is currently on. I'll remove that red arrow because I will forget to remove it myself. Now the GC guys are on this descent here. Remco sat in second wheel, Isaac Del Toro in third wheel, Martinez in fourth wheel, and I mean, Tadej Pogacar's leading it out. The gap is 2 minutes and 5 seconds, so I think we are, as you know, we still could see an attack if time is made up on. I think we're looking at a breakaway winner here. I think the breakaway have finally done it. They've cracked the case, and the way to win it is to have Tadej Pogacar work as a domestique, and to have the entire UAE team get infected with an illness. Yes, Stu's Lynn says, yes, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I'm going to be live to wrap up the Tour de France tomorrow. So join me live tomorrow to watch along for the final stage of the Tour de France up the Montmartre. It looks like it is going to be a good one with the likes of Matt Pedersen, Tadej Pogacar, Mathieu van der Poel all getting involved. It will hopefully all getting involved in this one. So don't forget to subscribe. We are aiming for 1,000 by the end of the Tour de France. But if you do subscribe, it is greatly appreciated. Camera's now on Carapaz, 13 seconds down on Sepp Kuss. Will he be able to close the gap? 12 seconds is the gap now, back up to 13. So looks as though it is just stabilising between those two times of 12 and 13. And I say that it goes up to 14. 10 kilometres, exactly 10 kilometres to go now until the end of the final stage of the 2026 Tour de France. And Sepp Kuss is clear. 1:55 is the gap for the GC guys. They've got rid of Paul Sexas' time on screen. They've replaced it with Jai Hindley's time gap of 1:45. He's 10 seconds ahead of the GC guys, and he will surely get caught here quite soon. The virtual KOM classification. Carapaz is 156. Pogacar is 100. Paripandra is 99. Sepp Kuss moves up into 4th on 55 points, and Remco is in 5th on 50. Richard Carapaz has scored 65 points today and wrapped up the polka dot jersey. There's Pogacar at the front. They have caught Jai Hindley. Jai Hindley has been caught. Will he ride at the front to close the gap, or will he drop in and sit in front of Remco? Isaac Del Anker. Well, I will give Isaac Del Toro his credit. He was at the front. He did do a bit of pulling there, but there's the gap there. 120 meters between Seb Kuss and Richard Carapaz, and Richard Carapaz is still getting out of the saddle and accelerating. I can't get over these Carapaz performances. Can't get over it. But Seb Kuss is getting out of the saddle as well, and he's accelerating as the gap looks as though it is opening up quite significantly here. That says 14 seconds is a gap, but I think it is going to grow quite significantly. I say that and it doesn't. It went up to 15 seconds. Big whoop. Forgot Mads might win tomorrow. I mean, he has the chance to win tomorrow. I just highly doubt it with all that he has been doing over the past 3 days to secure that green jersey. I think if he had left these 3 days and focused on winning it on the final stage, it could have been something different. But with the work he's been doing here, I don't think he's gonna win tomorrow. Oh. If Carapaz wins, what a fight. Yeah, the crowd is picking up now. Out of nowhere, Carapaz just cycles over this wee bit of the hill and the whole ocean of crowd just opens up and the crowd is back. We're seeing the cheer and we went from silence to near deafening sounds. 14 seconds is the gap, and I'm sure the crowd are buzzing to see Seb Kuss on his own. Carapaz behind and no sign of Tadej Pogacar. There's the T-Rex again. The T-Rex has made a return. Let's hope the crowd don't have a part to play in determining the winner of this stage, or if there are any issues as well in GC. Hopefully it isn't because of the crowd. We did see yesterday as well up the Alpe d'Huez when Remco did attack. We seen that Remco got stuck behind two motorbikes and Thymen Arensman, who was holding up the two motorbikes, and he couldn't get round. But he did eventually get away. But we've got 8 kilometers to go. 8 kilometers to go until the end of this stage. And it's still Seb Kuss out the front. 13 seconds. Carapaz is 12 seconds. Carapaz is closing this. Carapaz is closing this. Here we go. 1 minute and 30 seconds is the gap as Tadej Pogacar and the GC guys now hit the crowded section, but Tadej Pogacar at the front. Jai Hindley is now on the wheel of Remco, who is not going to let Tadej Pogacar's wheel go unless obviously Tadej Pogacar attacks, but Tadej Pogacar is parting the crowd like the Red Sea. 1:30 the gap with 7.5 kilometers to go. Will Tadej Pogacar be able to close this gap by himself? Jai Hindley sat in third wheel. Isaac Del Toro in fourth wheel. Lenny Martinez is still hold on here in fifth wheel. Sexas now, he is 1 minute and 20 seconds down. He needs another minute loss for Lenny Martinez to bunny hop into fourth. But I mean, fair play to Lenny Martinez for being able to hold on. Oh, Seb Kuss crash? Problem or crash? Seb Kuss, oh no! I don't know if he crashed or I think he crashed. I think Seb Kuss crashed. He crashed. He got back on the bike and he's still going. Carapaz is, no. Camera pans back to the Seb Kuss group. He's getting back onto his bike and a fan is pushing him up the road. Carapaz is not that far behind him now. The gap was 20 seconds. I'd say it's under 10 seconds now. Carapaz is probably licking his lips at the thought of Seb Kuss just being up the road ahead of him now. But can you see him? They're going through a bit of a descent here. They're still yet to hit the proper Alpe d'Huez section yet. I think it's a couple kilometers. The GC gap, 1 minute and 20. Oh, no. Carapaz knows what's happened. He's actually sprinting here on the descent to try and catch up. It has went down to 12 seconds, so 10, and you can see Seb Kuss just up the road. He just hit that corner. Carapaz is now hitting. Yeah, Carapaz just hit the corner. Seb Kuss just went round, so he's just up the road. You can't see him. You can't see him up the road. No, 6 kilometers to go, and it's going to be 6 kilometers from hell for Seb Kuss to do this. I think they're on the final bit of the descent down towards the Alpe d'Huez. Seb Kuss Oh, I tell you what, Seb Kuss just got, he's lucky. He is so lucky to be. No! I genuinely thought he went over the edge here. What happened? He is one lucky guy. Oh my god. Carapaz has went through. Carapaz is out the front solo on his own. Seb Kuss crashes twice in the past 1.5 kilometers as Carapaz is now solo on his own. What has just happened? This is like the Giro d'Italia stage with Igor Arrieta and Afonso Elalio. But instead of, Afonso Elalio and Igor Arrieta both crashing, we have got Seb Kuss crashing twice. Hits a 5 kilometer banner. Seb Kuss has 5 kilometers to go, but Carapaz has 4.8. The gap is 7 seconds between them. That was the sight of that. Just, he's so lucky. So lucky. That net was there as well, but jeez. The GC group is 1 minute and 10 seconds down with 4.5 kilometers to go. I'd say about 400 meters, near about a kilometer to go until they hit the foot of what remains for the GC guys are on that corner for Seb Kuss. No issues there, but Jai Hindley is leading out Remco Evenepoel on this descent. Isaac Del Toro in third wheel, Tadej Pogacar in fourth wheel, but it looks like Tadej Pogacar is happy enough to allow Richard Carapaz to go up the road and potentially win his second Tour de France stage, unless Remco Evenepoel has something to say about that. But Carapaz here looks as though, look at the crowd ahead. Oh my days, the crowd. The crowd ahead. Ugh. Yeah, thank God he's okay, Shelley. But the descent has finished. Richard Carapaz is now on to the section off the Alpe d'Huez, and we return for the second day in a row, and the barriers are out, and it looks like they're not cheaping out on the barriers today, as there is a massive wide road. Seb Kuss just has Carapaz up the road. 7 seconds is the gap, but with the 2 crashes hitting him so quickly, does he have enough to be able to catch up? There's not a fan on the road here. There's a barrier there, and you've got guys like sitting on top of the barrier, hanging over the side. Why? Just stand behind the barrier. Makes no sense. 3.4 kilometers for Richard Carapaz. That is how long he has got to go. They've got sections of 10%, 12% to hit. 1 minute and 9 seconds is the gap for the GC guys. Seb Kuss is now 10 seconds down, but is Richard Carapaz going to do this? Is he going to win on the Alpe d'Huez? Oh my days. The GC guys are now at the foot, I keep saying at the foot, they have now joined the Alpe d'Huez climb. Jai Hindley now gets out of the saddle and rips it up here, trying to bring back the breakaway, but I don't think it is possible. Seb Kuss' gap opens up to 14 seconds, 3.2 kilometers to go. And Seb Kuss' gap is growing as it drops. As soon as I said it drops. 12 seconds is the gap now. Paul Sexas is 1 minute and 40 seconds down. Sorry, 1 minute and 30. 1 minute and 30 down. 3 kilometer banner has been hit for Richard Carapaz. Where is Seb Kuss? 12 seconds, they're saying. They don't have a camera on him. But I tell you what, the crowd for Alpe d'Huez has quite dispersed after yesterday. I wonder if it picks up here in the final kilometers. But there's not a single bit of road here. It is all barriers. Lenny Martinez now drops off the back of the GC guys, and we're down to a group of 4. Jai Hindley, Remco Evenepoel, Isaac Del Toro, and Tadej Pogacar. Lenny Martinez hopefully just paces himself to the finish. Paul Sexas, he is now on the descent with Scalmoza and Ayuso, 2 minutes and 41 seconds down. But neither of the Little Trek guys are helping Paul Sexas limit this damage. Obviously, Scalmoza and Ayuso are behind him in GC, but they don't want to try and help Paul Sexas at all, as these 3 guys are about to hit and join the Alpe d'Huez section of the climb as well. Jai Hindley's job is done, and Remco goes to the front. Remco gets out of the saddle, pretends he's looking at the fans and the lovely scenery, but I'm sure he was looking to see if Isaac Del Toro was behind him, and he is. But Isaac Del Toro looks as though he's struggling. Tadej Pogacar sat in third wheel, and Remco Evenepoel's attacking. Remco Evenepoel has distance Isaac Del Toro and Tadej Pogacar. Remco Evenepoel has attacked. General Pogacar comes up here in front of Isaac Del Toro to close the gap down. He says, "Hold my wheel, mate. Tag along. Let's go and catch Remco together." And he's going to close the gap here. Remco Evenepoel, he's got a small gap. 85 metres is the gap between Carapaz and Sepp Kuss. 15, 16 seconds now is the gap. 90 metres, and it's growing. Isaac Del Toro has dropped. Tadej Pogacar looks over the shoulder. Just leave him, Pogacar. Go. He's distance from Paul Sexas. He's got the white jersey. There's no way he cracks that bad that Paul Sexas makes up a minute and 50 deficit. But Remco's going clear. Remco is dropping Tadej Pogacar. I can't wait to see what the internet's saying here today, because people are going to say Remco's dropped Tadej Pogacar, and everyone's going to say... and you see what's going to be said. But Tadej Pogacar drops back and helps Isaac Del Toro in the final 3 kilometers, and Remco's going clear. I can almost see Remco smiling. It looks as though he's about to give a smirk. But he is going solo. He's got a gap of 53 seconds on... Will Remco catch Carapaz? 2.2 kilometers to go, and Remco has a 50-second gap. Is he going to channel his inner Tadej Pogacar and bridge across to Sepp Kuss and Richard Carapaz? Or will Carapaz have enough to do it? 2.1 kilometers. He's got the 2 kilometer banner just up ahead of him. Remco's 47 seconds down. Where is Remco? What is Remco going to do here? Is Remco going to catch it? Oh no. It's still at 47 seconds. It hasn't really dropped, but 46 seconds now, so it's not dropping that significantly. It looks as though Carapaz could possibly do it. Sepp Kuss is 19 seconds down. Carapaz passes the 2 kilometer banner. Sepp Kuss here about to hit the 2 kilometer banner. But Remco Evenepoel is now 45 seconds down. He's got a 15-second gap on Tadej Pogacar. And there's Remco now, 42 seconds, 1.8 kilometers for Carapaz, and Remco is 42 seconds down. I don't think he's going to get it. Now, if this was Tadej Pogacar, I'd be bricking it if I was Carapaz, but it looks as though Richard Carapaz is gonna take this win. Now, it's obviously not over yet, but 43 seconds is the gap, and it seems to be sitting comfortably in and around there. But camera pans back to Tadej Pogacar and Isaac Del Toro yet again. I don't understand why Tadej Pogacar is helping Isaac Del Toro here. He's done the work, he's helped him, but it looks as though he wants to actually drag him to the line. But he has done. I mean, Domestic Pogacar is a force to be reckoned with. There's Carapaz now out of the saddle, 1.6 kilometers to go. Remco Evenepoel 39 seconds down. Sepp Kuss 21 seconds down. Hashtag best boss ever, says Shelley for Tadej Pogacar, and it looks as though it is. It looks as though he is the best boss ever. 1.5 kilometers. I don't think Evenepoel is going to catch him now. Yeah, I tell you what, Sepp Kuss has closed the gap to 16 seconds. Is there something left in the tank for Sepp Kuss? I would have been so... why did Sepp Kuss have to crash twice? It's actual heartbreak for him. 24 seconds. Remco's 37 seconds. 1.2 kilometers to go. And I'm taking nothing away from Carapaz's performance. An absolute sensational performance yet again. Another crazy performance. He got dropped a bunch of times, but he clawed his way back, and he was just fortunate. And obviously Sepp Kuss was just unfortunate to hit the deck twice. But there we go. Carapaz now hits the 1 kilometer banner. Remco Evenepoel 36 seconds down, and it looks as though we're going to have a South American winner on Alpe d'Huez and Richard Carapaz, and it looks as though he's going to pick up his 10th Grand Tour victory of his career. Camera's now on Remco. How close is he to the 1 kilometer banner? There he is. He's got Seb Kuss in his sights. 34 seconds down. He's not going to win the stage, but he could potentially finish on the podium. But I take that back. He's obviously going to finish on the podium, but he could potentially finish second. He's going to take, it looks as though he's going to be taking in and around 15 to 20 seconds off Tadej Pogacar. But will Remco have enough in him to attack one last time and go on to get second place? But here comes Carapaz around the final few bends, as we seen Tadej Pogacar do solo yesterday. But this time it is Richard Carapaz, the Ecuadorian, for the second time in this Tour de France, is going to go on to pick up his second victory. He did it in the pink jersey of EF Education the first time round, and this time he is crossing the top of the Alpe d'Huez in the polka dot jersey. He goes round the final bend. The finish line is in sight, and I mean, Richard Carapaz, take a bow. What a performance. Attack after attack. He dropped, he came back, and he didn't give up. And that is the... Look at the Carapaz there. That is the epitome of not giving up. There he goes. He zips the jersey up, taps the jersey, slaps his chest, and puts the hands in the air as he crosses the finish line. He gets his 10th Grand Tour win off his 10th Grand Tour stage win off his career. Seb Kuss now comes around the final bend with Remco in his wheel. Seb Kuss opens up the sprint. Remco here closes the gap. Will he be able to come around Seb Kuss and pick up second place? Yes, he will. Remco Evenepoel passes Seb Kuss, finish line in sight, and he is going to go on to take second place on the Alpe d'Huez. Fair play to Remco. Good performance from him. Seb Kuss is going to cross the line there. He doesn't look happy at all, and rightly so. Two crashes does it, and Seb Kuss doesn't win on the Alpe d'Huez. Here comes Tadej Pogacar. General Pogacar and his lieutenant Isaac Del Toro side by side on the Alpe d'Huez, the yellow jersey and the white jersey. Tadej Pogacar pats Isaac Del Toro on the head and on the back. Are they going to come across the finish line arm in arm, or what is going to be? There's Lenny Martinez sprinting in the back. He's going to photobomb the photo. But there they go, arms around each other. They both do the bull celebration of Isaac Del Toro as they cross the finish line. I think Lenny Martinez actually finishes on the same time as them, but they embrace each other. Tadej Pogacar wins the Tour de France, and Isaac Del Toro wins the white jersey. Here comes Paul Sexas, Skelmuza and Juan Ayuso. They hit the 1 kilometer banner now. Richard Carapaz is in tears, and rightly so. He has just won on the Alpe d'Huez. Either he's in tears or he's asleep and he's just collapsed. I think he's just, I don't know if he's in tears. I think he has just collapsed. But here's Skelmuza finally appears and goes to the front. Skelmuza does his turn at the front in the final 800 meters. he gives Paul Sexas a nice wee 800 meter break. So he does. No help at all since Paul Sexas was at the front doing the work, but in the final kilometre, Skelmuza finally makes an appearance. Here's Jai Hindley crossing the finish line. He's going to cross the finish line in 8th, so he is. Sorry, 7th. Crossing the line in 7th. I want to see the sprint here between Sexas and Sue. See what happens. But don't forget, if you are new, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe as well. I'm back again tomorrow for the final stage to wrap up the Tour de France. It should be an interesting one. But we're aiming for 1,000 subscribers, so if you do subscribe, it's greatly appreciated. But here comes Skelmuza, Sexas and Juan Ayuso. Is there going to be a sprint between the three of them? Paul Sexas opens up the sprint in second, but he's not going to have anything to overtake Skelmuza. As Skelmuza with the sprint at the front opens the gap on Sexas. Juan Ayuso also sprints. They both overtake Paul Sexas, and they're going to finish in the top 10 together. In 8th and 9th, and Paul Sexas is going to pick up 10th. So that is, I'm pretty sure that's the top 10. What did I hit? Yeah, so this is the top 10 here for stage 20 of the Tour de France. Richard Carapaz wins stage 20. Remco Evenepoel finishes in second, 26 seconds down. Seb Kuss finishes in third, 31 seconds down after crashing twice in the final 6 kilometres. Isaac Del Toro and Tadej Pogacar finish in 4th and 5th, 1 minute and 5 down. Lenny Martinez finishes in 6th, 1 minute and 7. Jai Hindley in 7th, 2:15. Skelmuza in 8th, Juan Ayuso in 9th, and Paul Sexas in 10th, 2:55. So Carapaz wraps up the polka dot jersey. Mads Pedersen wraps up the green jersey. Isaac Del Toro wraps up the white jersey. And Tadej Pogacar wraps up the yellow jersey. And we've got 4 winners of each jersey. There's going to be no battles on the final stage tomorrow. The only battle that remains is who's going to be the winner of the final stage. No problem, Shelley. All the best. All the best, Ian. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it, Paige. But that is it. I'm going to wrap the stream up here. Don't forget, one more stage tomorrow. One more stage tomorrow. Appreciate it, Kat. But I'm going to wrap that up. Thank you for watching the Final K. Thank you for joining me for the final stage of this. Final mountain stage. We're not quite there yet. Final mountain stage of this year's Tour de France. I appreciate you all joining me today. If you joined at the start, if you joined at the end, no matter what, I appreciate it. But we did get to see Richard Carapaz win on top of the Alpe d'Huez after some unfortunate luck for Seb Kuss. And we seen Remco attack Tadej Pogacar and Isaac Del Toro and go clear. So it was a very good stage nonetheless. But the Tour de France, all the jerseys are wrapped up, and like I said, the only thing left to battle tomorrow is for the stage win. And don't forget as well, tomorrow's stage has been cut from 133 kilometers to 89, so we've got a very, very short final stage of the Tour de France. So I hope you all join me tomorrow to wrap up this year's Tour de France. And yeah, going to wrap it up here. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe as well. It's greatly appreciated. The support over the past 3 weeks on this Tour de France has been unreal. It has been great. So it is much appreciated for myself to use. I will say the same thing again tomorrow, but that's the mountains over and we move on to tomorrow. Thank you for watching the Final K and all the best.